Strap yourself in, because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
You are watching and listening to Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and your favourite podcasts. Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Are you ready? I'm saying, are you ready?
Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello?
Hello, everybody, fellow Fox fans. How are we doing? Welcome along. Apologies for being a little bit behind the times. We had a few technical problems. Basically, that's called dads. You know what we're like with technology. We see two buttons and it's like, oh, what one do I press? But then again, you kids have got to think, why did we have you? Because if it wasn't for that, we probably wouldn't. Hey, I'm only joking. It's Leicester Till I Die TV. Good evening. How the devil are you? At Facebook, it's on Leicester Till I Die the group. Twitter at Leicester TID, and of course on YouTube we are on Leicester Till I Die TV. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. Get over there now. Press me buttons, tweak me knobs, get subscribing, and press those reminder buttons. How are you doing? Have we got something special for you tonight? It's a bit of a threesome, actually. It's been a long time since I've had a threesome. Well, on air, anyway. Here we go. Got this for you.
Stay tuned, as it's competition time from Leicester Till I Die TV. And it's your chance to win.
It is. There's a chance to win later on. Stay tuned, because towards the end, we'll be asking you a question. And there's a couple of books up there for you to win. So stay tuned. Indeed it is. We have got two amazing people that we're going to introduce to you now that are going to come on, going to talk to us. For those of us of a certain age, like myself, you'll know them. You'll know them. Old friend of the channel, the man, the myth, the legend that is Barry Pierpoint. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. And I'm still alive. Anybody keeps thinking I'm popped off, I'm still alive.
You've got legend status and you're still breathing. That's something. And our other guest this evening, first time on the station. Lovely to have him on. Garry Mills, ex-Foxes captain. Good. Oops. We had him. We had him for a minute. I can still hear you, Garry, but we can't see you.
Can you hear me?
I can
hear you yet, but we can't see you.
That's probably the best bit. That's good news then for everybody.
Well, I was going to say, I've been doing these thumbnails to promoting tonight's show and everything, and looking at this, you two haven't changed at all. I mean, you know, I kind of, if I was to bring a picture of myself up in those times, yeah, I have definitely aged, and not very well. But both Garry and Barry, you're the same. There's no difference.
That's very kind of you. Come on, Garry, put your pictures up.
I can't answer that because you can't see me now.
I know.
Oh, come on, put your camera on. Stop being shy.
I didn't know. I've never seen a footballer that's shy before, Garry.
I don't know what's happened. I really don't.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll have a quick word. I'll have a quick word with Barry, and then we'll just take you into the green room. Yeah, see if we can get your camera working. So you'll still be in the chat, but just back in the green room. So we're going to say hello to a few people. Oh, Devils United, Maisie, good evening. Rich from Rich Sports, good evening. And Luca, good evening. An Arsenal fan popping his head above the parapet there. Rich, hi, Luca and Maisie. A Leicester fan. We've got a Leicester fan. I know there'll be one in there somewhere. David, how the devil are you, sir? Welcome along. Barry, we've had you on before. It's great. How's the book going? Because we've got the book here, Minding My Own Football Business. Everybody knows about Sue Whelan and the current chief executive, but you were the one that started it all off.
Well, I think the book's going very, very well. I mean, it came out in December and it went out extremely well. I've sold lots and lots of copies, and I'm still selling them now. And the thing that I find interesting is that people are really sort of enjoying the sort of stories, not just from me, but from all the other people that's in the book. That's players and directors and fans and journalists and even some of the staff that used to work with me. So I think that it takes them back to those golden memories, Chris, of the 90s, when Filbert Street was, really rocking and rolling, and we had some good play, we had some good teams, we had some good players, and we had some good managers. And we went to Wembley quite a few times, as you know, and all on a shoestring, may I say. I mean, we had very little money in the 90s, and we sort of battled on. But I think the book's going very well. I think it will make a nice Christmas present for those who haven't got it. And hopefully, here comes Garry again. He's back again. Look, he's had his chips.
I told you he needed his son, didn't I? Is that your son?
That's LP price, that is. Just make sure
we can see which one you meant when you said dad problems. You can see which one you meant now.
Well, I was being kind and not naming names, but I think one of those will be all right on the night shows. I think this could be it. But yeah, it was, I say, Minding My Own Football Business. It is a great read. I mean, if you like me, I've turned 60 this year, and I remember that golden era, and there was some good times and bad times, and I'm so glad I've got Garry on, because there is one particular match that I want to talk to him about later, and he probably knows which one it is, but we'll just see.
He's featured a lot in my book. I don't know why, but he's got a lot of pages about him in there, and he obviously must be very popular, otherwise he wouldn't be in the first 30 pages.
The more he wrote, the less you had to, Barry. Facebook user says here, great book, Barry, fantastic insight to your time at the club. And Terry here, I won a copy of your book from Chris in his FA Cup quiz, good read and interesting. And Garry, your book, Young Millsy, but like I say, you're still looking young man, is out today.
Yeah, out today, delivered to my doorstep today. Yeah, which is great, and me and Barry obviously spoke about this with both our books, and mine coming out today, and really looking forward to going on the road with Barry for a few weeks, I think. Anyway,
you have my sympathy. I mean, this I was reading about you both, obviously, before I did the show, and I just want to say that this is what Barry said. I used to smoke cigars and wear flashy glasses. I haven't smoked cigars in 12 years. My glasses are now very old. fashioned, simple. In my younger days, I wore tie, shirt, suit, socks, glasses, and even underpants, all the same colour. The question is, we all want to know, are the underpants still the same colour, Barry?
Well, in those days, you won't believe it, I had 14 pairs of glasses, all different colours, and some multicoloured. I had 14 different sets of ties, and 14 sets of underpants, and 14 sets of suits, all to match. So that's all gone now because none of it fits me anymore.
I'm not worried about the colour. I'm worried whether it's still wearing the same ones.
They're dusted. We need to be dusted now.
I think we're going to places here I think a lot of us would rather not go. I mean, you were there obviously at the same time. I mean, he must have been a character, Garry, when you saw him walk in. I can take him off screen if you want to talk about him while he's not here.
Character is one word. Yeah. You know, but it was just, Barry was great. He just came in like, you know, the same time as Brian, and everything just clicked. And you know, we needed. He brought a smile to people's faces, and you know, particularly with wearing different colour glasses every day. We used to have a bet in the dressing room what colour glasses he'd be wearing, and it just became part of what was a turnaround time for the club, and you know, little did we know what a magical time it was going to be. And so to be part of that, and you know, Barry coming in and doing the business off the field. It just gelled together superbly well, and a magical, beautiful time.
Wow.
Yeah. And as long as you didn't sit in the dressing room and wonder what colour underpants he was wearing, that would be a bit worrying and off-putting before a game. I mean, Barry, and Barry knows this, you know, now we joke about this, but obviously towards the end of his tenure, he wasn't sort of the most popular person, shall we say, in and around the club. But I'm trying to be polite here. But going back to when you first joined, the guy that brought you in also wasn't very popular, David Pleat.
No, and I didn't realise that before, you know, when I first joined the club. You know, personally, I've got nothing but respect, and you know, I've got a lot of thanks to say to David Pleat, because he brought me to Leicester City, which, you know, 5 years of my football career was again, I use the word magical. It was exceptional, and I thoroughly enjoyed every minute. So, you know, David Pleat brought me to Leicester, so you know, that was great for me, and little did I know, you know, really, that he was under a lot of pressure. Things didn't go as planned. I was shocked by the reaction I was getting in the dressing room regarding the manager, and it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice, and it was just a matter of time before, you know, that he was going to be replaced, and ultimately that's what happened.
What's it like as a player? I mean, obviously, I am a fan, and I will sit there. And we had it recently with Claude Puel. But what's it like as a player when you know obviously how the fans are feeling, and you have to go out there every game and play for them, and obviously try and do your best? Does it affect you?
Personally, it didn't affect me because I am who I am, and you know, I wanted to play for the manager, and I wanted it to work for him, and you know, obviously I wanted to get results. So unfortunately, I didn't get the same feeling from quite a few players within the dressing room. You know, there was players that didn't want to play for him. There was players that disrespected him. There was players that had no time for him. And I found it so hard to take, you know, I found it so difficult. I didn't understand it because I'd come from, you know, a couple of football clubs where I hadn't experienced it before.
Yeah.
So, you know, the changes had to be made, but it was a bit of an upsetting one for me because, like I say, you know, he'd brought me to the football club, but what you learn in football over the years and since, you know, it's not about that. It's about getting results. It's about, you know, being successful. And in the end, Leicester City done the right thing.
Yeah. And Barry, I mean, there's something about Leicester City and ex-Forest players making them captains that seems to go well. I'll come back to the Forest connection in a second, Gary, but obviously, I remember you saying you were welcomed and all the players got behind your ideas. You had these great ideas, the Friday night football, playing football on Friday night way before even Sky thought about it. But did you get the support from the players?
Yeah, I mean, we had to be very innovative, and the idea was to get more and more people to come to the club. I mean, when I first went to Leicester in the early 90s, all the kids were walking around with Manchester United scarves and shirts on, and Leicester City wasn't really very high profile then. And we had to do things to create interest. I mean, family night football, which was on a Monday night, which was basically the reserve team games, where nobody ever came bar a handful of people, and Garry probably remembers those. And you've got to get 11 players in the team playing against another team on a wet, cold October, November's evening, and about 6 people standing in the corner, trying to create some atmosphere. How can people really play with passion? They did, but there was no atmosphere there. And we created something that we flew past Brian Little, and he was very pleased that that was something that would bring atmosphere. I mean, I didn't realise how successful family night football was going to be. I mean, we started off with a couple of thousand people, from 6 to 2,000, and then before we know where we are, Manchester United come down the reserve team, and then we had 14,000, and we couldn't get them all in. So that's the sort of thing that, and the players loved it. I mean, in the book, you'll see different players talking about their experiences and how family night football really jeered them on. I mean, I don't know whether you played in that, did you, Garry, at all? Any time? Family night football? Did you play
I played a couple. Yeah, I played a couple, Barry. Yeah.
The atmosphere was there for you, do you think? All those people?
It was fantastic, mate. It really was, and I think it was just a progression to the football club becoming I don't know, more of a family affair, if you like, and people getting together. The players, the fans, everybody. There was a connection, more of a connection there, and I keep saying this because you're probably going to have to buy me a drink on the road, mate. But you've done a great, fantastic job, Barry.
Well, that preempts my next question then, which was, how did the players perceive this guy that had come in to the club, had nothing to do with football before, was dressed like Richard Branson after a bad night out with his Virgin Girls, coming in saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other. I mean, did you all sit there and think, who the hell is this guy? Or did you seriously sit there and think, yeah, he's got some good ideas here?
No, he had some great ideas, but it was done with a smile. That was the biggest thing, and it wasn't, I'm going to do my job. I don't want anything to do with you. We'll sort of pulled together, and I think that's probably why me and Baz are going on the road together, because I can remember, and listen, I didn't. I do it for any other reason that I wanted to, but I used to do a lot. I used to go around the community and do a lot when I'd finished training and go around with the supporters. And Barry used to be asking us to go and do that, and it was always a pleasure. It was always a pleasure to do it. But it was great. He was a character. He done a lot for the players as well. It wasn't just all take. It wasn't come and do this, come and do that. He looked after us. In fact, Barry got me my first ever sponsored car. I'd never had one in my life, and Barry sorted me a sponsored car.
Tell us what it was. Tell us what it was.
It was a Mazda. It was a lovely Mazda. With my name splashed down the side. So, it was. But you
couldn't hide then. You couldn't hide.
Only the best for Gaz. Only the best.
Only the best.
I think you're going to say something like a Reliant Robin or something, knowing Barry, as I've got to know him.
Listen, Chris, I'm quality, and that's me all over, quality.
But yeah, I mean, Garry, Nottingham Forest, we know there's this rivalry between us and and it hurts me to say Nottingham Forest sometimes. I like to call them Notts Forest just to wind them up.
Ooh,
but
don't.
I know. It is fun doing it though. But I mean, you know, you came from Forest, was captain. Whereas Morgan came from Forest, was captain. Did you find any backlash at all from the fans when you first came?
No, none whatsoever. None whatsoever. You know, it was. I just enjoyed my football from day one. It was lovely, and I seemed to get a rapport with the fans. But you know, I played a lot of games in 5 years, 232 games in 5 years. So it showed, you know, that I didn't miss many games, and it was just great for me. It was a great time for the way that I was playing and the way that when Brian Little came in that he wanted to play. You know, David Pleat was overplay without any disciplines. You know, I remember games we lost 5-0 once, and he came in praising us, and I think Martin was nearly rammed his head down the toilet. It was unbelievable. But you know, Brian came in, and so I was enjoying my football, and you know, I think the fans appreciated the way that I played the game.
You spent a year abroad in America.
2 years.
Yeah, Seattle. 2 years. You see, this is why you can never trust Wikipedia, because first of all, they say you only played 200 games for Leicester, and you've just dispelled that. So I'm glad I didn't announce that at the start. And it says was it 2 seasons then at Seattle? What? Tell me, I mean, how did you get to go out to America? Because in those days, obviously, it wasn't sort of, you know, players didn't go abroad like they do these days. And then what drew you back?
It's all in the book. It's all in the book.
I think it's to do with pounds and pence.
Listen, I was 20 years old, and players going to America in them days were coming to the end of their career, you know, and I went to Seattle where there was a lot of English players. You know, Alan Hudson was there, and Roger Davis, and to name a couple, Steve Daly, and Kenny Hibbett. You know, and I was 20. So my gaffer, Mr. Clough, you know, virtually he didn't make me go because you couldn't force me onto a plane, but it's not easy sitting as a 20-year-old in his office and being told that Seattle want to take you. Was it alone? Was it not alone? Again, it's all something that's a bit of a riddle, even now in my life now, and I'm going on 60. And it's a difficult one for me. But listen, I thoroughly enjoyed my first year there. We got to Soccer Bowl against the great New York Cosmos, you know, Carlos Alberto, the Brazilian captain, and you know, Pelé was there, and you know, I was living the dream. I'd won 2 European Cups by 18, and I was in Soccer Bowl and with these players. It was incredible, absolutely incredible, and hence the title of my book, Young Millsy, because so much happened.
The youngest player in a European Cup final, weren't you? Or still are? I think you still hold the record, don't you?
Well, I hold the record for the 79 now. I was the youngest in 1980 when I played, but I'm the youngest now because I was 16. I was 16 when I played in the early rounds. You know, so when I look back now, 16 and 2 European Cups, and you know, I have to pinch myself even now, and it means so much. You know, so I've asked Barry, am I allowed going around Leicester to bring the European Cup with me? That's debatable, is it, Barry?
That's debatable, yes, yeah. Well, it's the next thing for Leicester to win because we've won everything in this country. But you mentioned Brian Clough there, who was a bit of a character. Moving on to the other character here this evening, as we've kindly called him, Barry. You're going out on tour. We've got the 2 books out today. Whereabouts are you going? Give us a few dates that you're appearing.
Well, we're going to be in October. I think the first one's October the 1st. It's a Friday at the is it Blues Grill Bar next to the football club? Is that one there on the 1st of October? Let me just get my list out. Hang on a minute. You caught me up. Let me get my list because I've got to remember there's about 7, I think, at the moment.
I'm only saying that because I closed the window down that had the information on it.
Oh.
I'm having a Garry moment here.
Don't worry, I've got it. So on the Friday the 1st, we're going to be going to the Blues Bar and Grill in Leicester next to the club. On the Friday the 8th, we're at Ashfordby Football Club, just inside Melton Mowbray. And then on the 15th, we're at the Piano Room, which is at Lutterworth, the football club. Wednesday the 20th, we're in the Black Horse Pub at Ayleston. 25th, we're at Ayleston Park Football Club. On the 8th, we're at the Memphis Hub at the South Wixton. On the 22nd, we're at Colville Town Football Club. We've got seven venues there. And the idea being is that we're close to people so they can get to whichever venue is nearest to them. That's the idea. We're doing 4 in Leicester, out of Leicester, and 3 outside in the different parts of the county.
And is that available on the website, the list of venues?
Yeah, it's on the website. It's on morganlawrence.co.uk. That's the publishing company that produces the books. And
there is a link in the YouTube below, by the way, if anybody wants to pre-order or order tickets, you can go on. There's a link in the so put the link in the website below.
And the price includes, of course, Gary's book, and Gary's book is $17.95. And then there's a 1-course meal as well.
I thought you were going to say then, and it includes a meal.
And, a one course. But it's
you get the book as well. You get the book
includes my book.
Yes.
And and you've got 2. Well, you've got one superstar and one sort of has been. That's me, I suppose. Really, we've got 2 of us together on the road. And
you have to put your badges on so people know who's who.
Well, I was just going to say they're saying who's which is. Which is which there, Barry?
but Garry,
we'll have some fun, and I tell you, we'll have some fun. We've got lots of stories to tell, and we're going to be very interactive, and we're going to catch people by surprise, and we're going to tell them all sorts of strange things. They're going to ask us all sorts of funny questions. I mean, nothing's off limit. And I tell you what, Kim and I, we're going to have a little pop at each other during the course of the evening. I've got a few surprises up my sleeve, and we're going to have a great night.
I hope you've got a few surprises back for him as well, Garry. And you got to ask, if you haven't read the book, you've got to ask Barry which Leicester player had the gun in the changing rooms. No, we will leave it at that. But Garry, I mean, Brian Little comes in, changes the core. I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people say, myself included, that I don't think we would be where we are now if it wasn't for what Brian Little started back in the day. And we were, it wasn't Leicester if we didn't have a day out at Wembley every year, and a few of them weren't so good. But I mean, I haven't lived in Leicester since I was 21. With my job, I've moved around, and I'm sort of stuck down on the south coast, which is lovely when it's nice weather, but means I can't get to the shows and what have you. But I can remember driving to my mum's flat and my mum's and dad's flat in Leicester to watch Leicester versus Swindon on the obviously I thought it was only going to be on central television. And the drive back with my girlfriend was a totally silent 3 and a bit hours. I don't think I spoke once. And as a fan, we went through all the emotions. I've got to say, what was it like as a player to be out on that pitch? And we'd lost, the season before to Blackburn, but to be 3-0 down, to come back, and then another dodgy penalty. I can't imagine what it was like to be on the pitch and play in that game.
Yeah, it's hard, even now, occasionally I watch it, and I like to watch it for that equaliser from Steve Thompson. I like to watch that because it sends shivers down my spine still, even though I know we lose at the end.
You keep watching it, hoping that one time we win it.
Yeah, well, to lose to 2 penalties, but I think let's go back to Blackburn, and that was the start of us getting promoted against Derby. Because you don't get to 3 Wembley playoff finals unless you've got a good dressing room, unless you've got something special. So it wasn't just that season. You know, you look at the players that were there against Blackburn and the ones that were there against Derby. You know, there was still a lot of players there. Of course, the odd ones came in, but overall, it was about what we were about over those years, not just that 1 year. It was an unbelievable dressing room. It was an unbelievable club to play for, and in the end, we got what we deserved, because a lot of dressing rooms, a lot of clubs would never have had the heart and the desire to get to another final. We had it in us. We had it in us to do that. So it was incredible for us. But you're right in what you said a minute ago. You know, that was the start of why Leicester are where they are now. Make no mistake. And I always go back to the Oxford game. You know, when Gordon Lee took over from as caretaker. You know, the old film Sliding Doors, and I always look at it. You know, if we'd have lost to Oxford that day, or even drawn with Oxford that day, where would Leicester be now? You know, so massive, but fantastic. And listen, I know, you know, we talked about this, and me and Barry are going on the road, and this is what we want to do, and we want the fans to sort of, you know, don't want to sit like now listening to us. We want them to stop me talking and say, yeah, but Gary, why this? Or Barry, why this? And because of this, you know, and that's the type of nights we want. That's why we're calling it off the cuff, you know. We don't want people to sit there for 2 hours listening to what we're going to say. We want them to have their say. And, you know, the answer's back. But along with that, a lot of fun and laughter and what it's all about.
And if not, you will get you will get the gun out, because you might have been the player with the gun.
I wasn't there.
So you say, but who knows? Who knows? Barry, I mean, it was an amazing time. You came in, and we've chatted about this before, but you were literally having to drag Leicester City screaming and kicking into the modern era.
Well, the good thing was, when I first went there, I actually got what's the first manager's name that was there, Garry, when you was there? I've just got his name now.
David Pleat.
I had his old office, believe it or not, and I'm not being funny. I mean, what inspiration can you have with an office with no windows, one bulb in the ceiling, a table with 3 legs and a brick under one of them because it was broken, and a plant in the corner that had died about 10 years ago? So what inspiration David Pleat had, I don't know, because that's the room I acquired when I went there, and it was like being cell block H. It was like being in prison. And
do you know what? Sorry, Barry, just to quickly say, after what we allegedly, or unallegedly, David Pleat was arrested for, I did think he say, when you go into an office and find things in his drawers, and I'm thinking, please don't go there. Please don't go there. I haven't got a good solicitor.
I'm not going to tell you what phone calls I received. I'm not going to tell you what I found in his drawers. So don't worry about that.
Sorry, mate. Do carry on, though.
But that was the sort of place we had. I mean, I could smell gas next door to me because the kitchen was next door, and I'm sure they're trying to kill me off. But listen, I thought that those times, I think when Brian came in a month just after me, those were very exciting and very challenging and revolutionary times. And, you know, it's not just about 1 or 2 people, it's about a whole team of people, both on the field, off the field, working together for the best interests of that club. I mean, we all walked around with blue blood and Leicester City blood. We all did what we had to do, and we all worked very hard together. And bear in mind, that club, when I first went there, was virtually bankrupt. You had no money at all. We're selling players all the time to keep afloat. And everybody worked together, and commercially and on the field. I mean, Brian did wonders. I mean, I'm a great admirer of Brian Little. And, you know, I worked with him very closely on the Fox Leisure and Family Night Football and all the things that we did. And the players were very supportive. They used to model the Fox Leisure gear and you know, the kit and that sort of thing. So we worked very hard and we worked well. It was very exciting times. I mean, you know, I lived there virtually day and night. It was such a wonderful place to be. And seeing the new Carling stand going up for me when I raised about £7 million was absolutely, tremendous. And when Brian used to, I think it was Brian, one of them used to say, walk out backwards, I think, look at the new Carling stand, not look at the East stand. But listen, great times and great memories for me. And I'm sure Garry was there 5 years and I was there 9. I mean, it's great times to see what happened. And there were some good people there, very good. I mean, all the players, all the backroom staff, all the commercial staff and all the other people, there were great teams of people to work with, weren't they, Garry? Very, very great people to work with and very friendly.
Listen, people say to me, and Leicester City, an incredible football club, and to this day, although I played that amount of games, when you go back, the welcome I get, it's like I play for them now, and you don't always get that. Well, you don't get that. And Leicester City Football Club is the only club I've ever known, and I'm only speaking from the teams that I played for, the clubs that I played for, that do that, and that's something special, But I knew that when I was there. And I love going back.
I mean, I think we say sort of Leicester was always like after Barry, it became a family club. It became that, and we've carried that on, and the new owners we've got now have sort of continued that with the way that they've encompassed the whole city. I mean, Barry mentioned it before, Garry, the Carling stand. I mean, you'd sit there and you'd look at that and think, oh God, this is Leicester. We've got this huge stand, and then we'd sign a player. Mark Draper's our first £1 million player, and you're thinking like, wow, Leicester are spending £1 million, and look at us now. It's 40, 30 million pound players. A 5-star hotel looking for a training facility. It wouldn't be out of place in Dubai. Right. Expansion to the ground and what have you. I get to the point where I'm thinking, where does sort of pinching yourself become self-harm?
I know. I totally understand what you're saying, but I was there. I was there at Filbert Street, and I wouldn't change that for the world. I really wouldn't. It was incredible, and yes, we got the new stand and all that was happening, and what you're saying there is money, and when I was there early on, and yes, it's great that in the Premier League and all that, but boy, just for and I know people might look at me and say, oh, the soppy git, but for the love of it, I wouldn't have swapped any of the time I was there, and it was an incredible time for me that means so much to me now, and will to the day I die. It was I'm a football man. That's why my life in football, and obviously Leicester's in that book of mine, and loved every second I was there.
I mean, it was an amazing atmosphere at Filbert Street. I mean, to me, an evening match under the lights at Filbert Street, you'll never. And I've been there recently. I was there with my son for the Champions League, and yes, the hairs went up the back of my neck when the music's played. But that 3-3 against Arsenal under Martin O'Neill, an evening game under the lights at Filbert Street with a double-decker full. My God, you just couldn't beat it, to my opinion. That's as much as I love the new stadiums. Of course I do. You don't have to wipe your feet when you walk out the toilet. There's something missing. It's just not quite the same, is it?
No, I mean, we didn't have any. Let's face it. When I first went there, the club hadn't got no money. I mean, every bit of money that my team, the commercial people, raised, all the profitability that we made, I had to get ploughed back into buying players and give Brian some money to buy some players in the earlier days. And we hadn't got anybody who got lots of wealth that they can pour into the club. And I can remember talking to a lot of wealthy individuals, business people in Leicester, Leicestershire, and wanted them to invest in Leicester City. Unfortunately today, the club's owned by a family, isn't it? It's the guys who own it today. Whereas, when we was there, it was owned by 7 or 8 families, and there was always a problem because not all the directors got on very well. There was always issues with them, falling out with each other. It was difficult times then when you got one owner they know what they're doing with the club. When you've got several or 7 or 8, like when I was working there, you've got this fraction and friction between directors not seeing eye to eye and not working together. But that's behind the scenes, and that's where it should stay. It's in a boardroom situation, not for general consumption out there. But let me just say one thing. We were very progressive in the 90s, and we were very progressive because we were doing things lots of people weren't doing. And I tell you one thing I really did enjoy, opening the ticket office all through the night so that we could sell tickets to Wembley, so people hadn't got a queue all through the night and get wet through because it was raining or whatever it was. And we got the people moving very quickly around the car park into the ticket office, bought the tickets and gone home. We did that quite a few times, and people really appreciated that. We took them drinks as well and biscuits and things, and that's something not many clubs would do. And I was very,
Barry, you know, one of the biggest things you brought to the football club, mate.
What's that?
A smile. A smile.
Well, people don't understand me.
I'm serious. I'm serious. You think I'm joking? I'm serious. You know, because things people weren't smiling. People were, and you know, Brian Little came in and brought a smile to the dressing room, and you came in and brought a smile off the park, and that doesn't cost anything.
You had to smile at them glasses, though, didn't you? That was the thing.
Well, yeah, believe me, honestly, them green ones are unbelievable, Baz.
I'm now thinking of the matching underpants. You shouldn't have got them with colours. No.
I've never thought that way about. No, please.
You know, I won't be able to look at Barry now without thinking underpants.
Chris, I was a very coordinated person in those days. Very coordinated, very structured, and very, you know, well organised. So I don't think people really understood me. People didn't know me, didn't understand me, and I think that the press didn't do me any justice by writing all sorts of crap about me and telling people how horrible I was, and you know, and some of the things that people thought I was. I'm actually not. I'm quite human and quite funny, and I'm quite, you know, I quite enjoy a good giggle and a good laugh. And I only worked for the benefit of the players, the club, the supporters, and everybody associated with the club, because that's what my job was. It was just to make sure everything ran smoothly, and we brought the money in, and we you know, we had money to invest.
I mean, I think I said with the first time we spoke, and you know, after I'd read your book, and we all had a perception of Barry Pierpoint. If you said, you know, name one thing that you remember about Barry Pierpoint, it's the crowd holding up the posters. You know, that's the thing that sticks in everybody's mind. And what I've noticed is how many people, and you're not going to change everybody's perception because they're football fans. We know what some football fans can be like. But it, you know, the thing I've noticed is how many people have come back and went, you know what, Barry, yeah, I take it back. You know, they see another side to you from this, and we did as a club, as you said then, Gary, we needed that smile because we I mean, yes, there were bleak years to come in other ways, but we had gone through some bleak years. But you know, we'd got Barry coming in who was a non-football person, and I think that's what might have gone against him, but it was probably what was needed.
Yeah, listen, I think we're British, aren't we? And I think whatever happens, people will always look on the negative. I went back to Leicester a couple of years ago to watch a game, and I walked up the stand, and one of the stewardesses looked at me and says, "It's Gary Mills, isn't it?" I went, "Yeah." He went, "It's great to see." He said, "I remember you when you missed that penalty at Barnsley." I said, "I'm glad I left you with a memory of me missing a penalty." And I thought, I'm sure I've done a little bit more than that.
Yeah. Those are the points that they're the things that people will always remember more than the
that's what I'm saying.
The successes.
That's what I'm saying. But you know, it brings a smile to your face. And on the way out, he actually apologised. Says, "I'm sorry, I didn't," because I said to him, "Is that all you remember me for?" And on the way out, he says, "Oh, I didn't mean to be disrespectful." I said, "I'm only joking. It just made me laugh."
Yeah,
mind you, it was a bad penalty. It was on the way to Blackpool. Right?
Well, at least you can you've owned it anyway. You know, how did it feel? Because talking about owning things, you'd got us back to the Premier League. You'd captained the side through to the Derby Cup final. You walked us out. You weren't able to play in the game itself, and then we go up, and I think you had one game for us sort of in the Premier League and moved on. Was that your choice? Was that Brian Little's choice? What happened with that?
Look, it's, you know, I think it was Brian's choice because it was made clear to me really from pre-season that season. And, you know, I got to play against QPR at home where we drew 1-1 and got our first point in the Premier League. And then the following morning I was told I wasn't travelling down to Wimbledon. And I was just, so a few things went off, you know, that pre-season that we'd got promoted to the Premier. Little things possibly people might think, but big things for me. And I never listen. I wanted to stay Leicester forever and ever and ever. I really did. But I'm that type of person, and I felt I was being pushed out the door. And I just think Brian was too nice a manager. Although you have to be tough as a manager, because I'd had some good years at Leicester, and I was captain in Leicester. And I think he found it hard to say to me, Garry, you're not in my plans. And I think I helped him out by saying, listen, it's obvious I'm not in your plans, and you know I need to go and play. I'm not a whippersnapper anymore. I can walk out the door, Leicester, proud of helping them get back in the Premier. And that's how it left. And so no, listen, when I see Brian now, you know, I love the man to death. I think he was fantastic, and you know, enabling me to walk the team out at Wembley. How many managers would do that? But it was just a bit of honesty in the end, and as gutted as I was to move on, life goes on, and look where Leicester are now, and no one is pleased more than me.
And you've gone into management, which is a very good moment, if you don't mind, just to mention the competition again. And this time, I will try and play the right jingle.
Stay tuned, as it's competition time from Leicester Till I Die TV, and it's your chance to win. So,
very kindly, I don't know if Barry's told you this or not, but you both donated a book, and we're going to give 2 away. So there's 2 prizes here, and you've got to comment in the comments on YouTube. So if you're on Facebook, when the show finishes, nip over to YouTube, find the video, and just add your comment on there. But the question is, at which club did Garry start his managerial career? So don't give us that answer, Garry. Exactly. At which club did Garry start his managerial career? And they'll pick two correct answers out, and we'll get those books out to you, very kindly donated. And you've got, like I say, just to show you, and here they are, looking as youthful as ever. Barry there, minding my own football business. It is a really, really, really good read, as I am sure. And you can't tell the difference. I mean, you know, spot the difference there. I could have swapped it around.
Look at the hair. Look at the hair.
I know. You've still got hair. Excuse me. This is why do you think Barry. I always get Barry and me? I mean, I always wear a hat because I've got nothing underneath, you know. And I'm too vain. Once I get to don't disrespect Barry. Once I get to your stage and I've got nothing, then I might be great. But you know, so and on that, I'm sure I'm gonna order my book later on. So hopefully I'll be able to read that. And we can give that some extra promotion as well. You've worked under a few managers. We mentioned sort of 3 different ones there in Clough, Pleat, and Little. You're managing now, and I daren't say this because I say Wikipedia's proved me wrong twice tonight. But hopefully you're still managing Corby Town, is it?
Yeah, at Corby Town at the moment.
Thank God for that. Thank God Wikipedia's got one thing right. Have you got your own management style? I guess everybody does, but is there a bit of everybody else, you know, managers you've worked under there, or would you say you're more of a Clough or a Little? Please don't say you're a David Pleat, because we'll have the police ringing up.
Look, listen, if you're a football manager, you have to be your own man. You can't pretend to be somebody else. You can't. You have to be yourself. but of course you learn. I played under the best man manager. Well, not just the man manager, the best manager ever for me, in Brian Clough, and the best man manager. So I describe myself as a man manager rather than a coach, if you like. I think it's what it's all about. But Brian Little, although I think Brian Clough would have frightened him to death, knowing both of them if they got together. I really do. But Brian had his ways, but in a nicer way, if you like. Brian used to take us to McDonald's rather than train, and we'd come in and he'd say, "Don't bother putting your training kit on. We're going out for the day," and he'd take us for a walk in the park and things like that. And Cloughie used to do those ridiculous things. Some of the things maybe I can't repeat what we used to do at this moment in time, but. So those two, without doubt. I played under Neil Warnock for a short spell, but Neil Warnock and Howard Kendall, John Barnwell, a lot of real good managers that all had. But also I've got to say, although you take things from them, you take things that you don't want to take with you from them, things that I would not do it that way. So you learn from all of them. But listen, I was privileged to play under great managers, and I mean great managers, not just good managers, great managers, and I forever grateful for that. And I hope when my players come on here, they say they played under a great.
Well, I say, how far do you want this to go with your managerial career? Do you want to take it as far as you can, or are you happy? Because obviously, not saying there's no pressure, obviously, but the higher up the tree you get, it comes with different pressures. Let's put it that way. Would you want to take those on board I suppose when you look at it, managers these days at the big clubs, you don't worry if you're not. You want to be a success, of course, but if you're not a success, you get just as much money with the payoffs, don't you? Yeah, you do. But listen, I started now 1996 managing. That's when I started. So there's a lot. There's a lot of years there. 25 years of managing, and I didn't get to where I wanted to get to. You need the breaks, and sometimes you're lucky with them, sometimes you're not. And it's not through not being successful. I have been successful. I got York back in the league. I took Gateshead, small Gateshead to the playoff final to get into the Football League. I've won the FA Trophy twice with York City. I'm not going to mention my first club that I managed where I got them promoted. So I've had great times, but it has been the Football League, but it has been mainly non-league. But let me tell you now, I've had a fantastic time and still having a fantastic time in non-league. The people are incredible. So, you talk about Leicester City and everything that goes with that now. The people are just as proud as at Corby Town as they are at Leicester, and amazing people that I keep in touch with for years and years and years that are beautiful football people. I must admit, like I say, I live down here on the south coast now at Poole, and when I first came down here, I used to help out and steward and what have you at Poole Town Football Club, just as Charlie Austin was playing his last season, and it's amazing. It's a different atmosphere, but it's proper football, if you like. You'd find yourself stood behind the goal and you turn around and the owner was talking to you. And look, when I, going back to my Forest days, when I was at Forest, and even Leicester, when I first went to Leicester, you used to go into the bar after and mingle with the fans, and you used to go, "Oh, well done today." If you lost, what happened today? Millsy, you weren't as good today, and you had to answer the fact you don't get that now. And you just said there, proper football, and that's what I love about it. I've got to be honest, I love the fact that you're still with the fans and you talk to the fans, and like you say, the owner's there standing in the crowd with you, and it's like one big family. So listen, it's no matter what level, and
I've sort of gone off my question on your question a little bit, haven't I? You know, I've not
No, it's fine.
I've not got to where I wanted to get to, but I've got that big number coming up in November for my birthday, and you know, I still want to get. I'm not stupid. I want to get back managing the top of non-league, which is the National League, to help another team get back into the Football League. And I know I'm more than capable of that because I've done it, and I'd love the opportunity of that again. If it comes along, great. If it doesn't, then I'll keep plugging away.
Well, good luck with that. Like I say, don't forget you can win a copy of these books each year. Which club did Garry start his managerial career with? Stick it in the comments, and one lucky person will win Young Millsy. And when I say you win Young Millsy, you'll win the book, not Garry Mills himself. He doesn't come round and do your washing up for you and cook your meals for the weekend. And one lucky winner will win Barry Pierpoint's Minding My Own Football Business. You don't want to actually win Barry, but he will sort your underwear drawer out. Barry, in the nicest possible way.
Very fashionable those days, Chris. I was a fashion guru.
What was it the Kinks said? A dedicated follower of fashion?
Yeah. Big cigars and lots of what's that say? I know who Timmy 84 is.
Yes.
I know who he is.
We will speak to Timmy 1884 afterwards and maybe get a few secrets on you. So Barry, like we say, your book is already out. Gazers, what I'm saying. I'm getting my two Gaz and my Garry's mixed up. Garry's is out today. Just remind everybody, I say there's 2 up to be won, but if they want to purchase them, where can they purchase them from again?
Well, Garry's selling his own from one direction, and we're selling on morganlawrence.co.uk some for Garry as well. So Garry's got his events, which is some with me and some on his own, and he's selling them that way, aren't you, Garry? And through his own channels.
Yeah, what I decided to do, or what I wanted to do was, I just wanted to go around and say thank you, really, in a way, and brought my book out and say I'm going around Leicester. We've got 7 events in Leicester. I'm going. There's a couple in Nottingham. There's a couple in York. There's a couple in Northamptonshire where I was born and bred, and I'm going up to Gateshead to do one there. So I think I've got about 15 in total at the moment. Where the price of the event gets my book, and it's just a different way of doing it, and but another way of seeing the supporters and saying a big thank you for helping me even create the chance of doing the book.
Is there a website or anything people can go on to order your book separate to Barry's?
Yeah, that same website.
Is it the same website? Is it? Right, brilliant. Timmy says there, don't know why Barry got so much stick at Leicester. He's not that bad to work for. Well, how much is he paying you, Timmy? That's what I want to know.
He's had a box of books, I think.
And the link to the website, like I say, is in the description on the YouTube channel. If you want it, you can click on that and go straight through. Both books are available now on that link on that website.
And so Garry, is the events as well. The events that Garry and I are doing and the ones that Gary's doing as well, they're all on that website.
So get along and see them. I'm sure if you watch tonight, it's whetted your appetite. And if you're going to ask nothing else, you've got to go and ask Barry. Forget the gun, just go straight for the underpants. That's what you've got to ask. I want to start something here now. If you don't, you've got to take some along with you, Barry, to throw at the audience. Tom Drift.
I'll bring the pair with me with Pierpoint out.
Nice one. Garry, thanks so much for coming on. We got past the old technical problems at the beginning. I mean, good luck with the book and the career. Thank you so much for coming on. It has been a pleasure and honor to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And Barry, you know, I'm always grateful for everything you do for Leicester Till I Die. You're a great friend and a supporter of the station. Thank you for everything. And again, thank you for coming on as well. And guys, go and buy those books. This one, I haven't read Young Millsy yet, but I will get a copy and tell everybody about it. But this one I have read, and it didn't keep me awake at night. Go and get a copy. And there we go. Look at that, young Millsy there indeed. And the real Millsy is on the right as you looked at him there, just in case you are wondering. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure and an honor, and I really appreciate it. And good luck with the books. Thank you so much. Stay safe, guys.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Cheers, Garry. God bless.
So, thanks to that. Honestly, what a pair! What a pair! It's like Saint and Greavesy. Do you remember them from all those years ago? So, just remember, last time here, you can win a copy of Young Millsy. You can also win a copy of Minding My Own Football Business. What we want to know is, with which club did Garry start his managerial career? Don't trust what you see online. No, I won't say that. But thanks so much for both of them for coming on. Hey, I'm going to be back. It is 8:36, 8:37. I'm going to be back for Sloppy Seconds at 9:30. We've got the big fat quiz coming up. We've got a West Ham fan on. And the rumours aren't true that we're making the questions harder because they beat us. Well, yeah, maybe we are. Maybe we are. Who knows? But thanks for watching, and we will see you. I'll see you in an hour, hopefully. And take care. And I'm going to leave you with a quick word from Jamie.
Correct.
Kevin! Kevin! I love that. Good night.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all them social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.